Here go Karlissa right on schedule. She said, "Which sign is my son's new friend? I'm trying to see something." Why does it matter what sign she is?
Nobody told us astrology would become the new background check, but here we are. One casual question, one curious pause. And suddenly the internet is acting like Karlissa just pulled out a crystal ball and asked the universe for clearance. Because when Blueface's dating drama resurfaces, nothing stays small, not the rumors, not the reactions, and definitely not the side-eye. This wasn't a press conference. It wasn't an interview. It wasn't even shade with a capital S. It was a question. A simple curiosity that somehow set off timelines like a smoke alarm in a crowded apartment building. Karlissa wanted to know Stunna Girl's Zodiac sign, and the internet responded like she just leaked a secret dossier. Fans leaned in. Critics laughed. Meme pages stretched. Because in the Blueface universe, astrology isn't about stars. It's about patterns, and once people thought they spotted one, the speculation went orbital. Suddenly everyone was a cosmic detective, convinced that birth charts explain everything from dating chaos to family tension. This made celebrity relationship drama look like a calm dinner party. Because when curiosity meets clout, even the planets get dragged into it. And once Karlissa's question hit the timeline, the internet decided this wasn't about astrology at all. It started small. Too small, honestly, which is why nobody saw the explosion coming. One casual question floating through the timeline like it didn't know the chaos it was about to cause. Karlissa wondering about Stunna Girl's Zodiac sign should have been a throwaway moment, a blink and you miss it comment. But in the Blueface universe, nothing stays innocent for long, and curiosity doesn't exist without commentary. The internet immediately leaned forward, because context is everything. This wasn't just anyone asking. This was Blueface's mom asking about the zodiac sign of the woman now linked to her son. That detail alone turned astrology into a courtroom exhibit. Suddenly, people weren't asking what the sign was. They were asking why she wanted to know. Screenshots started circulating like they were classified documents, commentary pages added, dramatic captions that made it sound like Karlissa was running a spiritual background check. Fans replayed the moment in their heads, trying to read tone that didn't exist in text. Was this playful? Was it shade? Was it concern wrapped in humor? Depending on which corner of the internet you were standing in, the answer changed completely. The first wave of reactions split instantly. One side laughed it off, saying the internet had officially lost the plot if a zodiac question could spark drama. The other side wasn't amused at all. They argued that nothing Karlissa does is ever accidental, especially when it comes to Blueface's relationships. To them, this wasn't curiosity. It was commentary disguised as comedy. And then, the jokes started turning sharp. Memes compared zodiac signs to red flags, warning labels, and emotional hazard symbols. People joked that Karlissa was checking the stars before checking the vibes. Others said astrology had officially replaced background checks, credit scores, and Google searches in the Blueface dating pipeline. It was funny, until it was and single quotes T. Because underneath the humor was a familiar tension. Blueface's dating history has never been calm, and the internet remembers everything. Past chaos resurfaced immediately. Old relationships, public fallouts, family clashes that played out in real time. In that context, Karlissa's question didn't land like a joke. It landed like foreshadowing. Stunna Girl didn't even need to say anything for the situation to escalate. Her name alone was enough. The internet filled in the silence with speculation, which is its favorite hobby. Some people defended her, saying she was being dragged into drama she didn't create. Others accused her of knowing exactly what she was stepping into. And once again, a narrative formed without a single confirmed detail. Karlissa's reputation added fuel to the fire. She's never been a background character in Blueface's story. She's outspoken, opinionated, and very comfortable sharing her thoughts publicly. So when she asked about a zodiac sign, people didn't hear a question. They heard intent, they heard judgment. They heard a mother sizing someone up in the most internet-friendly way possible. Comment sections turned into Astrology boot camps overnight. Suddenly, everyone was an expert. People broke down personality traits like they were profiling suspects. If she's this sign, that explains everything. Oh, that sign, that's chaos. No wonder. Logic took a back seat to stereotypes. And stereotypes drove the conversation straight into madness. The wild part is how fast astrology became a weapon. Not playful, not curious, weaponized, signs were turned into verdicts, compatibility charts became moral judgments, and Karlissa's original curiosity got buried under layers of projection. People weren't reacting to what was asked, they were reacting to what they felt it meant. Supporters of Karlissa argued that parents are allowed to be curious about who their children are dating, especially given the history. Critics fired back that curiosity doesn't need a public audience. Neutral viewers tried to stay quiet, only to get pulled in by replies demanding they choose a side. Silence wasn't an option. It never is online. Blueface's name floated over everything like a shadow. Even when he wasn't speaking, he was the gravitational center. Every comment circled back to him, his patterns, his past. His ability to turn relationships into spectacles whether he intends to or not. In that light, Karlissa's question felt less random and more inevitable. What made the moment stick was how it blended humor with discomfort. People laughed while side-eyeing. They joked while judging. That mix is internet gold. It keeps people engaged without requiring resolution. The Zodiac question became a symbol not of astrology, but of control, concern, and the blurred line between family input and public interference. As hours passed, the situation didn't cool down. It mutated, new angles popped up. Was this Karlissa protecting her son? Was it subtle shade? Was it harmless curiosity blown out of proportion? Each theory had its own army in the comments. And none of them were interested in compromise. By the end of this phase, one thing was clear. This wasn't about a zodiac sign anymore. It was about power dynamics, boundaries, and how quickly the internet can turn a simple question into a full-scale drama. Karlissa didn't need to accuse anyone. She didn't need to explain herself. The internet did all the work for her. And as the conversation grew louder, one uncomfortable truth settled in. If a single question could cause this much noise, whatever came next wasn't going to be quiet. Because once curiosity gets framed as commentary, every move becomes suspicious. Once the Zodiac question stopped being funny and started feeling loaded, the internet did what it does best. It chose chaos, not confusion, chaos. The conversation didn't slow down to ask what Karlissa meant. It sped up to decide what she must have meant. And from that moment on, astrology wasn't about planets anymore. It was about power, perception, and picking sides. Reaction pages jumped in immediately, slapping dramatic captions on screenshots like they were breaking news alerts. Suddenly, Karlissa wasn't just curious, she was checking compatibility. Stunna Girl wasn't just dating, she was being analyzed. And Blueface wasn't just involved. He was once again the center of a relationship tornado that pulls in everyone within shouting distance. The algorithm ate it up like it had been starving. Memes escalated the situation fast. Not light-hearted ones either. These were pointed. Zodiac signs were turned into warning labels, personality diagnoses, and full-blown red flag charts. People joked that Karlissa had skipped background checks and gone straight to the stars. Others said astrology was the only thing strong enough to explain the madness that follows Blueface everywhere he goes. It was funny, until it became mean. Celebrity reactions, real or imagined, only poured gasoline on the fire. Influencers chimed in with vague takes about toxic signs, energy, and patterns, never naming names but making it obvious who they were talking about. The internet translated every emoji like it was Morse code. A laughing face meant shade, a crystal ball emoji meant confirmation, silence meant guilt. Everything meant something. The astrology crowd went into overdrive. People started breaking down compatibility charts like they were solving crimes. If she's this sign, that explains the chaos. That sign always brings drama. Run. Logic vanished. Stereotypes took the wheel. And suddenly, Stunna Girl's entire personality was being reduced to a birth month by people who don't even know her birthday for sure. Supporters of Stunna Girl pushed back hard. They accused Karlissa of weaponizing curiosity and turning a private thought into public judgment. They argued that astrology shouldn't be used as a public dog whistle, especially when it comes to relationships already under scrutiny. To them, this wasn't playful, it was intrusive, and they weren't wrong to feel that way. On the other side, Karlissa's defenders weren't backing down either. They argued that given Blueface's history, curiosity isn't shade, it's survival. They framed Karlissa as a mother trying to understand patterns the internet already knows too well. In their eyes, asking a zodiac sign wasn't an attack, it was a warning wrapped in humor. And the fact that people reacted so strongly proved the question hit a nerve. Blueface's dating timeline became a highlight reel of chaos in the comments. People dragged up past relationships, public fights, live stream meltdowns, and family clashes like they were presenting evidence. The Zodiac question became the lens through which everything was reinterpreted. Suddenly, the stars were being blamed. 4 years of drama that had nothing to do with astrology at all. What really pushed this into overdrive was how quickly boundaries disappeared. Family opinions, which are already complicated, became public entertainment. People debated whether Karlissa had the right to comment at all. Some said family input is normal. Others said public commentary crosses a line. The internet didn't care about nuance. It wanted a winner. And then the tone shifted again. The jokes got sharper, the takes got colder. People stopped laughing and started judging. Astrology stopped being playful and became punitive. A zodiac sign turned into a character flaw. A question turned into a verdict. And the original curiosity was completely buried under outrage. Reaction videos exploded, each one louder than the last. Hosts took sides aggressively, acting like this was a morality play instead of a messy family situation. Some accused Karlissa of controlling behavior. Others accused Stunna Girl of inviting chaos by association. Nobody asked Blueface anything. He hovered over the conversation like a ghost. Everyone blamed, but nobody confronted directly. What made this phase uncomfortable was how normalized it felt. The internet has become so used to dissecting relationships that turning astrology into a weapon didn't even feel strange. It felt expected. People debated compatibility like it was destiny, not entertainment. And in that noise, the real issue got lost. Because this wasn't about zodiac signs, it was about control, boundaries, and who gets to comment on whose life. In public, astrology was just the excuse. The drama was the goal. By the end of this phase, the conversation had fully escaped its original context. Karlissa's question was no longer a question, it was a symbol. To some, it represented concern, to others, interference. To the internet, it represented content, and once something becomes content, it doesn't get resolved, it gets escalated. The comments were louder, the sides were clearer, and the tension was thicker than ever. Whatever came next, the response, a clap back, or more silence, was guaranteed to be interpreted as confirmation of whatever people already believed. By the time the meme slowed and the comment sections caught their breath, the damage wasn't undone, it was set. Not because anyone proved anything, but because the internet had already assigned meaning. Karlissa's curiosity had been recast as commentary. Stunna Girl's silence had been rewritten as strategy. And Blueface, as always, sat at the center, like gravity, pulling every take, joke, and judgment back into orbit whether he asked for it or not. The shift was subtle but permanent. People stopped asking what the zodiac sign was and started arguing about who gets to ask. That's where this moved from silly to serious. Family dynamics went public. Boundaries got debated like constitutional law, and everyone suddenly had a strong opinion about what a mother is allowed to say when her son's dating life turns into a spectator sport. Karlissa's public image didn't change, it calcified. Supporters doubled down, framing her as protective, intuitive, and unafraid to call patterns when she sees them. To them, astrology wasn't shade, it was shorthand, a joke with a message. Critics, meanwhile, saw interference dressed as humor. They argued that curiosity doesn't need a megaphone and that public questioning invites public judgment. Same moment, two verdicts, neither side budged. Stunna Girl, caught in the middle without saying a word, became a projection screen. Some people painted her as unfairly targeted, dragged into a family narrative she didn't create. Others framed her as fully aware of the chaos she was stepping into. The silence around her didn't quiet the noise, it amplified it. Online silence isn't neutral. It's a blank space people rush to fill with assumptions. Blueface's role remained the most ironic. Everyone talked about him while talking around. Him, his patterns, his history, his gravitational pull over drama were debated endlessly, yet he stayed largely absent from the moment. That absence didn't calm anything, it sharpened it. Because when the center doesn't speak, everyone else decides what it means. What lingered most was how astrology became the perfect cover. A socially acceptable way to judge without saying you're judging, a playful language that turns serious critiques into jokes that can always be walked back. It's just a sign became the escape hatch. But everyone knew better. This wasn't about planets. It was about control. Who gets to comment? Who gets to question? And who gets to define the narrative? Reaction channels shifted tone in this phase. Less laughter, more verdicts. Creators started framing the situation as a lesson in boundaries, respect, and family dynamics gone public. Others leaned harder into the mess, arguing that once relationships are public, commentary is fair game. The internet split cleanly along a familiar fault line: privacy versus content, and content usually wins. The long-term effect showed up in how people talked afterward. Every future interaction got preloaded with suspicion. Any comment from Karlissa would be scanned for subtext. Any post from Stunna Girl would be read for shade. Any silence from Blueface would be treated like strategy. The Zodiac question became a reference point, a shorthand people could invoke to reignite the debate whenever things cooled down. And that's the real aftermath nobody likes to admit. Moments like this don't end, they archive, they sit in the background, ready to be reopened the next time something even remotely related happens. A new relationship update, a cryptic post, another family comment. The file is already labeled. What also changed was the audience. People got more comfortable turning personal dynamics into public sport. Astrology just made it easier. It softened the edges while sharpening the judgment. The line between playful curiosity and public interference blurred until it barely existed. At all. By now, nobody expected a clean resolution. No apology would satisfy both sides. No clarification would reset the narrative. The internet doesn't want closure. It wants continuity. And continuity was guaranteed the moment curiosity went viral. This wasn't a scandal with a bang. It was a slow burn that proved something uncomfortable. You don't need accusations to cause friction. You don't need statements to create sides. You don't even need conflict, just context, timing, and an audience ready to read meaning into everything. Karlissa didn't accuse. Stunna Girl didn't respond. Blueface didn't intervene. And yet, the ripple spread anyway, because once a question gets framed as commentary, every future move becomes evidence. And in this ecosystem, evidence doesn't need proof. It just needs attention. And this is where everyone pretends it was just a joke, just astrology, just curiosity, even though we all know that's not how this works. Because in the Blueface universe, nothing is ever just anything. One question turns into a theory. One emoji turns into shade. One zodiac sign turns into a personality profile written by strangers with Wi-Fi and opinions. So, let's talk about it for real. Was Karlissa simply being curious like any mother watching her son repeat patterns the internet already knows by heart? Or was that zodiac question low-key commentary dressed up as humor, knowing full well the internet would grab it and sprint? And where does Stunna Girl fit in all this? unfairly dragged into family drama or fully aware that dating Blueface means the spotlight comes with heat, don't dodge it. Drop your take in the comments and stand on it, because fence-sitting doesn't trend. But honesty does. And trust me, the comment section is already loading its own birth chart analysis. If this story made you laugh, cringe, or side-eye your screen, good. That's the point. This is how modern drama works now. Subtle moves, loud reactions, and narratives built before anyone explains themselves. And if you're still here, you already know what this channel does. We don't sugarcoat the mess. We break it down, call out the patterns, and let the internet argue while we connect the dots. Now do what the algorithm pretends not to care about but absolutely lives for. Smash that like button like it owes you money. Drop a comment that isn't recycled from the last 10 people. Subscribe, because drama like this doesn't disappear. It reincarnates with a new angle. The stars may guide, but the mess always follows. This is Fame Flaws, where curiosity turns controversial, boundaries blur, and the internet never misses a chance to make it messy.